ready to dive into some Grammy history.
Always ready for that.
This time, we're going back to two pretty different years in music.
Oh, yeah.
2014 and 2024.
Okay, a whole decade apart.
To see how the, biggest award show in the biz reflected, like, what was hot then.
Right.
What was changing, what was, maybe even controversial.
I like it.
Because it's more than just who went home with the trophy.
Oh, for sure.
We're talking about how music itself changes.
Totally.
And we can see that through these awards.
Yep.
So you've got all that research in front of you.
I do, lots of it.
All the nominees, winners, all the categories.
Yeah.
Where should we even begin with all of this?
Let's start with 2014.
Okay.
The 57th Grammys.
Okay.
Big year. Established stars were still kind of holding the ground.
Right.
But you also had some newcomers starting to shake things up.
Okay, so picture 2014.
Yeah.
What were some of the big categories then? And were there any nominations that kind of raise eyebrows?
Always.
Yeah.
Album of the year.
Oh, of course.
Always generates buzz.
The big one, yeah.
In 2014, you had Beyoncé leading the pack nominations across multiple categories, including Album of the Year for her self-titled visual album.
That was huge, that album.
Oh, yeah.
Changed the game.
Total game changer.
Everyone was talking about how she, redefined what an album release even was. The whole visual album thing.
It was a cultural moment, for sure.
It was.
But you also had another album that was nominated.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of reflected a different shift in music.
Okay.
Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, The Heist.
Oh, yeah.
Sign that independent hip-hop was really breaking through.
In a big way. Yeah.
In a big way to the mainstream.
And they won, right.
They did.
Which sparked a lot of debate.
Oh, a lot of debate.
A lot of people felt Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, MAAD City should have won.
Big conversation.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of what makes the Grammy Awards so interesting. It's not always just about the quote-unquote best music.
Yeah.
It's also about these cultural shifts, expectations, who gets to decide what's,
It's the criteria.
Totally.
What makes an album groundbreaking?
Yeah.
Is it, how the critics feel? Is it how well it sells?
Yeah.
Or is it something else entirely?
You got it.
And we saw that debate in other categories too, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Best New Artist that year.
Oh, tons of buzz.
Yeah, I bet.
Lorde was nominated, James Blake,
Yep.
Macklemore, and Ryan Lewis again.
Oh, right.
Big
names.
Yeah, so 2014, definitely a year of change and controversy.
A little bit.
But now let's fast forward 10 years to 2024.
All right.
The 67th Grammy Awards.
Yeah.
What kind of evolution did you see?
In the categories themselves.
The most striking thing was the new categories that really reflect how music is made and how we listen to it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Big changes there.
Yeah.
Best song for social change.
Oh, wow.
Big one.
That's a new one?
Brand new.
I like that.
It was all about music tackling social issues.
Yeah.
And using their platform.
Right, to make a statement.
To make a difference.
I love that.
Yeah, it shows that the Grammys are evolving, recognizing that power.
Right, how music can drive important conversations.
Exactly.
So what about the nominees in 2024?
Let's see.
Anyone really stand out to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For Album of the Year, you had Doechii.
Yeah.
Scarlett.
Oh, that was a good one.
Stand out for sure.
Yeah.
Her style is so genre-bending, and her approach to pop music, it's so experimental.
I remember hearing that album.
Yeah.
Just blown away by how original it was. And then you had Steve Lacy, too, right?
Absolutely.
With Gemini Rights.
That one really solidified his place as a rising star in R&B.
He's so talented.
Oh, for sure.
But, okay, the big prize, Album of the Year.
Yeah.
Who took it home?
It was a tight race.
Oh, I bet.
But Beyoncé ended up winning for Renaissance.
Wow, again.
It made her the artist with the most Grammy Awards.
Of all time.
Ever.
That's amazing.
Truly historic.
Queen Bey.
Yeah.
She just keeps breaking records.
She does.
Speaking of breaking records, Best New Artist category.
Oh, yeah.
Who was, making waves in 2024?
You had Wet Leg.
Oh, I love them.
The British indie rock duo, known for their quirky lyrics.
And that energy, right?
Yeah, that infectious energy.
They're so fun.
They are.
And they were up against Thames, right?
Yeah.
That incredibly talented singer-songwriter.
Nigeria.
Yeah, she blends.
Afrobeats, R&B.
So seamlessly.
Yeah, a tough category to judge for sure.
So who won?
It was Wet Leg.
Oh, nice.
A real win for fresh perspective.
Yeah.
And a good dose of humor.
Love it.
Yeah.
But we've only just scratched the surface here.
Right.
Let's dive a little deeper
Okay.
into the journeys of some of these nominees,
Right.
starting back in 2014.
Yeah.
Who comes to mind?
Well, one nominee who deserves a closer look is Sarah Bareilles.
Oh, yeah.
She was nominated for Album of the Year for The Blessed Unrest. Beautifully written, beautifully performed, showcased her talent.
As both.
Songwriter and vocalist.
Amazing.
Really is.
And was that her first Album of the Year nomination?
It was.
Wow.
And even though she didn't win, she's gone on to do incredible things. She even won a Grammy a few years later.
Oh, that's right.
For Best American Roots Performance.
I love that song.
Saint Honesty.
That's what's so inspiring about the Grammys.
Yeah.
It's not just about winning. It's about recognizing an artist's growth.
Their journey.
Yeah, their evolution.
Absolutely.
Throughout their career. What about Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah.
In 2014.
Okay.
We talked about how a lot of people thought Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City was a front runner.
It was a huge front runner.
For Album of the Year.
Yeah.
So what did his career look like after that?
You know, even though he didn't win that year, Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City was a massive success.
Oh, yeah.
Both commercially and critically.
Yeah.
And it was just the beginning for him.
Right.
He went on to win multiple Grammy-wise.
Yeah, he did.
Solidified his position as one of the most important voices in hip-hop.
He's a true innovator.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's jump back to 2024.
Okay.
Who else stood out to you then?
Okay, let me think.
And what made them so noteworthy?
Well, Ethel Cain really caught my attention.
Oh, yeah.
She was nominated for Best New Artist, Preacher's Daughter.
What a stunning album.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, haunting.
Yeah.
Beautiful exploration of faith and trauma.
Southern Gothic imagery.
So atmospheric.
Yeah.
What do you think her nomination says about the music industry in 2024?
You know, I think it shows a real shift in what we're recognizing, what we're celebrating.
Right.
Music industry is opening up, embracing those alternative indie artists who are pushing the boundaries, exploring these difficult themes.
It's so great to see those voices getting recognized.
It is.
And speaking of genre-bending artists, we talked about Doechii earlier.
Right.
Her album Scarlet.
Groundbreaking.
What made that nomination so significant?
You know, her nomination for Album of the Year, it wasn't just a personal achievement. It was a milestone for recognizing experimental pop as a force in the industry.
A legitimate force.
The way she blends those genres creates a sonic landscape that's just so Doechii.
Totally unique.
Yeah, she's a visionary.
She is.
Challenging what we expect from pop music.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Beyonce's historic win. The rise of independent artists like Steve Lacy and Wet Leg. It's clear that the music industry really evolved.
Between those 2 years?
Yeah, between 2014 and 2024.
For sure.
Before we go any further,
okay,
I'd love to get your expert take on this evolution.
Yeah.
What were some of the key differences you observed?
One of the most obvious was the explosion of like genre bending, experimentation.
Right.
You know, in 2014, there were still like some pretty clear lines between genres.
Yeah.
But by 2024, those lines were so blurry.
Yeah.
Artists were just blending elements of everything.
It's true.
Pop, R&B, hip hop, electronic music, even rock. It just created this sonic landscape that was way more, I don't know.
Like fluid.
Fluid, yeah.
More diverse.
For sure.
It's like music became its own melting pot, drawing inspiration from everywhere.
Yeah, I think that reflects how we listen to music today. Streaming services have given us access to such a range of music.
Right, we're not just limited to like what's on the radio anymore.
Exactly.
So it's only natural that all these influences start merging, blurring together.
Yeah, we're constantly exposed to so many different sounds. So it's almost inevitable that artists are going to experiment and reflect that in their work.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other big differences you noticed between the 2 years?
Another interesting trend was how important visuals became in music.
Right.
Beyonce's visual album in 2014. It was a big turning point.
It was.
Showed that music videos could be art.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, a way to promote a song.
And that trend definitely continued, right?
Yeah.
In 2024.
artists like Doechii, Steve Lacy, creating these stunning videos that complement their music so well.
That's part of the experience.
Absolutely.
Especially in the age of social media.
Yeah.
Where, artists are constantly creating content to engage with fans.
Right. Visuals are so important.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
You see how technology and social media have changed how music is made.
How it's consumed.
Yeah.
How we experience it.
It's a whole new world.
It really is.
Okay, I have one last question before we wrap up this part of our dive.
Okay.
If you had to choose one album from 2014.
Ooh, tough one.
And one from 2024. Yeah. That truly, embodied the essence of each year.
I'm up for the challenge.
What would they be?
All right, for 2014, I'd have to go with Good Kid, MAA City, Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, that's a great choice.
It was just so groundbreaking.
Yeah. In terms of the music and the lyrics, it captured the spirit of that time.
And for 2024?
Okay, for 2024, I'm going with Steve Lacy's Gemini Rights.
Love that album.
It's just so well crafted, showcases his songwriting, his talent for creating music that's deeply personal, but also universal.
Yeah, I get that.
Relatable.
It is.
Yeah.
Both of those albums, really remarkable.
They all
represent the brilliance
and the innovation
of their respective years.
I agree.
I have no doubt that those albums will keep resonating with listeners for years to come.
I think so too.
Okay, I think it's time for us to take a short break.
All right.
We've journeyed through 2 distinct years in Grammy history.
We have.
Explored the nominees, the winners, and talked about the bigger cultural shifts that shaped these iconic awards.
It's been a journey.
But there's still so much more to uncover.
I know, right?
We'll be right back. How about to continue our deep dive
so good
into the world of the Grammys.
Can't wait. It's fascinating to see how some categories have basically stayed the same.
Yeah.
Even though how we make music and listen to it is totally changed.
You're right.
It's crazy.
Like the big ones,
yeah,
album of the year, record of the year, song of the year.
Right.
Those are always going to be the ones everyone wants.
Always the most coveted.
Yeah, they're like institutions at this point.
Exactly.
But what's interesting to me is how we think about those categories has changed.
Yeah.
Take album of the year, for example.
Right.
Back in 2014.
Yeah.
The idea of an album was still pretty traditional.
Right.
A collection of songs that tell a story flew together.
But then by 2024,
yeah,
those lines started to get blurry.
Right. Like Beyonce's Renaissance.
Yeah.
That felt more like an experience than a traditional album.
Exactly.
It was all about celebrating dance music.
House, disco, Afrobeat.
Yeah.
All woven in.
It wasn't just like a regular track list.
Right. And it makes you think, what does album even mean now?
That's a question the Grammys are definitely wrestling with.
I think so.
With like singles and EPs, mixtapes, visual albums.
The different landscape now.
Totally different.
So should the Grammys stick to those traditional definitions or should they adapt?
It's a tough one.
Yeah. Are they being too rigid or are they protecting something important?
Right. It's like you want to honor the legacy of the awards. And the idea of the album is art.
Right.
But you don't want the Grammys to become irrelevant.
Yeah, you don't want them to be stuck in the past.
Exactly.
That's a tough balance.
And that's why they're so interesting to follow.
Oh, for
They're not just reflecting the music.
Right.
They're reflecting how we define music.
Yeah.
In a world that's constantly changing.
It's true. So much has changed.
Totally.
Even in just a decade.
Okay, so we've talked about the definition of an album.
Yeah.
But what about the music itself?
Okay.
How would you compare the sound of 2014 to 2024?
Well, one trend that's hard to ignore is the influence of electronic music.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much everywhere.
In every genre.
Yeah, like back in 2014.
Right.
Electronic dance music, EDM. It was still kind of niche, but by 2024, it was everywhere.
It's true.
Pop, R&B, hip-hop.
I've even heard it in rock.
It's true.
Which is kind of wild.
It is.
And I think that speaks to how technology has changed things. With software and equipment being so affordable.
Yeah.
Anyone can make music now.
Bedroom producers everywhere. Experimenting with electronic sounds.
Yeah, the barriers to entry are so much lower now.
They are.
Which is leading to a lot of sonic innovation.
It's great.
It is.
And it's led to this cross-pollination between genres.
Yeah, you don't have these rigid genre boundaries anymore.
I think that's one of the most exciting things happening in music.
It is.
Artists are free to draw inspiration from anywhere.
Totally.
Think about dochi, pop, R&B, experimental electronic music.
It all comes together.
Yeah, in her own unique sound.
Yeah.
And then you have Steve Lacy.
Oh, yeah.
Soulful vocals, jazzy melodies, little psychedelia.
It's a melting pot of sound.
It's amazing to listen to.
It really is.
That experimental spirit makes this era of music so cool.
It does. And alongside that, there's been this rise in social consciousness in music.
Oh, for sure.
It was there in 2014.
Yeah.
But it feels even stronger in 2024.
I think the events of the past decade, all the social justice movements, the political stuff, the pandemic, they've all had an impact.
On artists and their music.
I think they're using their platforms to speak out.
Yeah, to shine a light on things.
Injustices.
To start those conversations.
Music has that power.
It does.
To be that vehicle for social commentary.
Yeah.
To connect with people who share your values.
To spark change.
And the Grammys are recognizing that new category, Best Song for Social Change.
I love that category.
Shows they're taking it seriously.
Yeah, the role of music in social movements.
It's not just about protest songs.
Right.
It's about how music reflects the world.
Yeah.
How it sparks dialogue, inspires action.
Recognizes artists who are using their voices to make a difference.
It's powerful.
It is.
So we've talked about how albums are changing, the sound of the music, social consciousness. What about the artists themselves?
Okay.
What differences have you seen between the artists who were big in 2014 and those who are dominating in 2024?
Good question.
One of the biggest differences is the diversity.
In what way?
Of the artists getting recognized by the Grammys.
Okay.
In 2014, it was still mostly white men.
Right.
But in 2024, we saw a lot more women, people of color, LGBTQ plus artists.
That's great to see.
It is.
It's long overdue.
It is, but it's a welcome change.
Definitely.
The music industry has always been this mix of cultures and identities.
So it's good to see the Grammys finally reflecting that.
It's a testament to a lot of hard work. A lot of people fighting for representation.
And it shows that progress is possible.
Yeah, even in industries that have been slow to change.
I love that it's a message of hope.
It is.
And a reminder to keep pushing for inclusivity.
For sure. And you can hear that diversity in the music.
Yeah.
We're hearing more voices, more perspectives, more stories.
It makes the whole landscape richer.
It does. So much more vibrant.
It's true. We're experiencing music through all these different lenses.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, I want to talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Technology.
Right.
It's played such a big role in shaping music.
It has.
How it's made, how it's shared, how we listen to it. But how do you think technology has specifically impacted the Grammy-wise?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest impacts is how it's leveled the playing field for independent artists.
Right.
It used to be that you needed a label to get your music out there, to even have a shot at a Grammy. But now, with streaming and social media, artists can build their own fan base.
They don't need a gatekeeper anymore.
Nope, they can go straight to the fans.
And we saw that with Macklemore and Ryan Lewis in 2014.
Oh, yeah.
Independent act.
Yeah.
Massive success.
They were able to use the internet to their advantage.
Absolutely. And that trend has only continued.
And in 2024, we saw a bunch of independent artists nominated. Yeah.
Dookie, Steve Lacy.
Artists taking control of their own careers.
It's amazing.
It is, connecting with their fans directly.
So authentically.
And that has to be a good thing for music, right?
I think so.
More opportunities.
Yeah.
More diverse voices.
Creativity. It makes the music landscape so much more interesting.
I agree.
More dynamic, more inclusive.
And I think the Grammys are starting to reflect that.
It's good.
Being more open to those independent artists, acknowledging how important technology is.
Right. They have to evolve with the industry.
If they want to stay relevant and represent all that creativity.
That's out there.
Exactly.
Because the music world has changed so much.
It has.
In just a decade.
Imagine what the next decade will bring.
It's hard to even imagine.
The Grammys need to be ready to adapt, to embrace all the changes.
And reflect the truly global nature of music.
Absolutely.
It's a really exciting time to be a music fan.
It is.
With all this new technology.
Who knows what's next?
Pushing the boundaries.
It's going to be amazing.
I can't wait to see what sounds we come up with.
And what experiences, the Grammys of the future. I bet they'll be full of surprises.
I think so, too.
Things we can't even imagine yet.
Speaking of the future of music, it's time to move on.
Okay.
to the final part of our Grammy deep dive.
It's been a blast exploring these 2 years with you.
It has.
So much to think about.
And this is just a glimpse into this huge, vibrant world of music.
There's always more to discover.
I hope this conversation has inspired you to keep listening, to keep exploring.
To keep finding new artists
that you love.
The world of music is amazing.
Yeah.
Full of joy and wonder.
Perfectly said.
So go embrace it.
Okay, stay tuned for the final act
of
our Grammy deep dive.
Yeah.
We'll share some album recommendations.
Looking forward to that.
And leave you with some food for thought.
About the future of music.
We'll be back in a moment. We're back for the final act of our Grammys deep dive.
I know. I'm still thinking about all those incredible artists we talked about.
Me too. My to-listen list is a mile long.
It's been such a rich conversation, seeing how the categories have changed, the sounds, artists making a statement with their music.
Yeah, it really shows you how music reflects what's happening in the world.
Absolutely, and how the Grammys have adapted.
They've had to keep up.
For sure.
Okay, before we say goodbye.
Yeah.
Album recommendations.
I've got some good ones.
You've had some time to think about it.
I have.
What gems did you pick out?
Okay, for 2014, I'm going with St. Vincent's self-titled album.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That one got a lot of critical love.
It did.
But it wasn't exactly a chart topper.
No, but it's art rock at its finest.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Really inventive, edgy, not afraid to be different.
I like that.
St. Vincent, her real name is Annie Clark.
Right.
Phenomenal guitarist.
Yeah.
Songwriter. This album is pure creative vision.
What's it sound like?
It's got this futuristic feel.
Okay.
Almost dystopian in some places.
Interesting.
But then she brings in these catchy hooks, melodies that pull you right in.
It's a unique experience.
It is.
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
That one's going on my list.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Now, what about 2024?
Okay, from 2024, I'm recommending 19 Maestro by Nux.
I don't know that one.
It's soulful hip-hop.
Oh, nice.
But with this British flavor that makes it special.
Yeah, I like that.
Nux is a talented rapper, producer, storyteller.
So what's the album about?
The whole thing feels like a coming-of-age story.
Okay.
Set in London.
Cool.
Lush production, clever rhymes. It's authentic.
I like that.
Heartfelt.
It's always exciting.
It is.
Discovering new music.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting me on to Nux.
My pleasure. Music is all about those moments of discovery.
So true.
Yeah.
And that's what this deep dive has been all about.
Exploring, right?
Exploring how music changes, how genres blend.
How artists reflect the world.
And how the Grammys try to capture it all.
It's been fascinating.
It has.
So much to think about.
But like all good deep dives.
We have to come up for air.
Essentially.
But keep those ears open. Those minds curious.
Right.
There's always more music to discover.
Remember that question we asked?
About the Grammys.
Yeah. What changes would you make?
How do you see music evolving?
That conversation never ends.
It doesn't.
Thanks for joining us on this Gramwise deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you back here soon for another deep dive into something fascinating.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, keep the music playing.